How is it that somebody can move on and up from a Toronto chef to a Kensington Palace prince? Squeezing a tear out of the left eye, prostrate on the floor, crying, "I'll leave you if you don't immediately tell the world that I'm your girlfriend." That's how you do it. So in spite of Harry's fear and hatred of the media, Harry chose the path of publicity. He decided that was better than being abandoned by this man-eater. More and more people around the world are becoming convinced that Meghan did organize her own online harassment campaign to pressure Harry to give in to her engagement plans. So here's how the plan went. On April 25th of 2015, Meghan met Harry at the opening of Soho House in Istanbul. Meghan admitted that she did her homework and scoured Harry's Instagram feed. In Vanity Fair, Meghan, when she was supposedly 35 years old, said that she met 32-year-old Harry in 2016, and that they were secretly dating for about 6 months, so that would have been about April 2016, and that happened after they were chatting on Instagram. And then, October 28, 2016, news came out about the secret relationship between the two. And then, the very next day, the two of them publicly celebrated. That would have been October 29th of 2016. She and Harry went to the Soho House Toronto Halloween apocalypse-themed party with Eugenie and Jack. A mysterious somebody leaked some information and some photos to the media. It was a very narrow window, though, through which to maneuver and organize Harry, but only a week later he issued a public statement. That would have been November 8th of 2016, and he issued a statement about Meghan, his new American actress girlfriend, and media intrusion, too. Using his Kensington Palace press release, he whined about nightly legal battles to keep stories out of the media. A quote, "It is not right that a few months into a relationship with him that etc. and so on and so forth. Just a few months, really?" Then on Wednesday, November 2nd, the UK Sun had a front-page busty photo of Meghan in her red, low-cleavage deal or no-deal dress, and it was titled Princess Pushy. It wasn't anything racist, they just showed some sexy photos. So from October 28th to November 7th, which was hardly even a week, how is this media blitz raised without prior assistance? It reminds me of Meghan lowering the limo window at Her Majesty the Queen's Jubilee to wave, "Oh, look at me," to the media. And then, December 2016, they publicly went shopping together for a Christmas tree at London's Pines and Needles store. And just a few days later, they attended a play in London's West End. Meghan went to the Toronto Invictus Games with her bestie Marcus Anderson, and then she went to a wheelchair tennis match with Harry on September 25th, 2017, and she was happily waving to the press. Now magically then, the engagement was announced on November 27th of 2017, along with an announcement that 6 months later there would be a wedding at Windsor on May 19th of 2018. So the first thing Meghan needed to figure out was how long it would take to get herself a big fish after he took the first bite, and how to make the process faster. She was proficient in manipulating her own. Just think about the Tig fan club. She set up her own remote Shark Tank of anti-Meghan-oriented trolls. Now, they're helping support her in her plan of getting young Harry to get so upset every time he read a critical comment about his American movie star girlfriend. Oh, poor Harry, he was really struggling. We also know that even today, R12 Foundation still contributes to these online social media groups. They're hoping to influence more accolades, tributes, and awards for the two of them. Meanwhile, though, it's 2023, and the entire world has gotten sick of the two of them. We just are wanting to know when one is going to eat the other one and who's going to be left over. So here's how the story goes in a nutshell. Once upon a time, there was a little girl. Like so many other little girls in America, she wanted to marry a prince someday. But instead of learning how to waltz and how to walk with a book on her head and how to curtsy to the queen, how to be gracious to other people, how to be polite, how to show good manners, and most importantly, how to be grateful for her lot in life, she assumed that she was above it all. She was the queen, after all. She didn't need to bow to other people. She knew a lot more about protocol than the royal family, even. After all, she was an American actress. She manipulated her way into the family, and she was welcomed into their family with open arms. She was offered a beautiful wedding and all kinds of perks, but that was not enough for this little girl. Instead of just being grateful, she was spiteful. She wanted more and more and more. So she pitched fits and she threw cups of hot tea at employees. She was so rude because she was taught in Hollywood that that's what she needed to do to get her way. In fact, that she should do anything she needed to get her way. And that's not how a princess should act, really? She was still incredibly jealous of the real princesses, and she thought that she should be better than them. So when her little fits did not allow her to get what she wanted, she decided to try throwing some shade. That she thought was going to be her deadly weapon. She went to the wizard of all, Oprah, and she begged like her mother-in-law before her. But she didn't look vulnerable like the one who people actually loved. Instead, she just seemed shrill like an evil stepmother. She decided to spill all the tea on the royal family, and she pitched a fit after a few weeks on the job, saying, "Oh, I should really be paid for this kind of work," not considering that a wardrobe budget and a home and all she needed for free, plus love and adoration, was more than payment enough. She moved to the land of Nod, dragging her prince husband along with her, and said that she would make both of them rich beyond their wildest dreams. But of course, the only way to do that was to try to destroy the very people who made her rich and famous, the royal family. So all the people and lands all over the world started to despise her. She wanted to go to the king's coronation, but only if she got her way. Well, the village people got their rotten tomatoes and eggs handy, and they just waited for her. Will she continue to destroy other people to try to get her way, or will she be banished forever and lose her titles? The rest is yet to come. We're just going to have to stay tuned to see how this one turns out. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little fairy tale, but anyway, onto a different theory. So, I've got a little theory about those invisible children. I think they know they cannot bring the rented children or friends' children or whoever they are out of the US without legal passports. So they made just enough ridiculous demands for homage to Archie as a reason to not bring him or the girl along. And see, that made Meghan look like a good mother. Well, she thought it made her look like a good mother. I don't believe it. But anyway, she wanted to convince us all that she just needs to stay home to celebrate all the friends and the children who won't be there. Even the godfather is probably going to be a no-show. Harry was playing polo last year on his son's birthday, so I guess he can just be the missing father again. And you know, Meghan's going to try to stage some beautiful birthday party without important guests. We'll see a photo of happy children chasing balloons or maybe some circus clowns, perhaps a fake vegan cake table with a handsome doppelganger boy, and whoever they decide to use to play the part of Invisibed with her back to the camera watching with imagined glee. Obviously, they're never going to be able to produce these two invisible children who they have been claiming are theirs. Recently, the information was published that that little girl whose photo Meghan has consistently been using as Lilibet is actually a little girl named Hartford Schroeder. Apparently, that little girl's mother is an actress and model named Stassi Schroeder. Her husband's name is Beau. There was a photo. It was the first and the only photo actually I have seen of Meghan holding Hartford, and it was a photo where you could see Stassi standing next to Meghan and Hartford, but they only showed that photo once. Every time I have seen that photo since then, Stassi has been cut from Meghan's side, but you can see a little bit of her if you look closely. And then there's that photo they always show of Hartford sitting in the grass, and it seems to have been taken at or around the same time as the photo of Meghan, Hartford, and Stassi together. And I have seen so many other posed, maybe professional photos of Stassi and Hartford together, and Hartford is a younger but dead ringer for her mother. Now, the many photos of Stassi and Hartford together made me think that maybe Stassi is making a portfolio for Hartford and herself to do some type of mother-daughter modeling work. And as for the little boy who they are using as this ever-changing mysterious archofficial, he apparently is the son of Bryn Gringus and Adrian Melia, the owner of Melia Architect, New Jersey. The cute little boy's name is Gavin Gringus, and as people have said, trying to travel overseas with rent-a-kids would be a documentation nightmare. How would they deal with the passports? I don't even know if it's possible to travel out of the country with a letter of consent with preschool kids. The mothers would basically have to travel with them as nannies. It's starting to be a real problem with kids who obviously are able to talk. If you ask me, once the short-sighted Montecito malcontents started this game of pretending to have these kids, they had to leave the country because they did not consider the future far enough to understand that their fake kids would eventually learn to talk, interacting with family, and accidentally tell the truth. And also, they would have to go to school in the UK, so the teachers and the students and their parents were going to catch on eventually. Or they might have to attend family vacations or church or royal events on the balcony, and then have to act according to royal protocol if they stick around. The kids would have to be the same kids forever. The Montecito morons didn't have any other choice but to get out of the country as soon as possible and avoid ever coming back with those children.